morning, one and all. Hearty welcome from KIIT and on behalf of ORSI Bhubaneswar chapter. I am so happy that over 340 delegates from 7 countries have registered for this webinar, having a theme which is very current, which is very relevant, and which is, what I guess, concern to one and all. While we are waiting for our respected Pro Vice Chancellor Madam within a couple of minutes, we are starting as per schedule. I'll be just taking a couple of minutes in setting the context, introducing the theme. Then I would request my ORSI colleague, my best friend, Professor Srikant Patnaik, next to brief something about the activities of ORSI and introduce ORSI Bhubaneswar chapter to all the delegates, those who are listening to us. Next, our respected Registrar Sir will be having his address. Then I'll be requesting our Pro Vice Ma'am to have her speech and also to have formal welcome on behalf of KIIT. Then we have a very thoughtful speech by keynote speaker, our Honorable Director, KIIT School of Management. And as we have already intimated, this session is being chaired by our respected Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Hrusikesh Mohanty. So once again, hearty welcome. So very briefly about the webinar, let me tell you the background of how it struck to us and how we thought of organizing this webinar. Exactly 1 year back, this month, last year, me and my colleague Professor Srikant Das thought of doing something how people here in this Eastern India are using internet, how is the diversity, how is the consumption pattern, and we wanted to see whether we have really migrated to digital India or not. And we applied for project to ICSSR. Luckily we got successfully and we started just 8 months back, and to our surprise and as a coincidence, this COVID pandemic occurred, and as we all know, there was no choice. We all had to resort to online mode of all activities. Even the homemakers, even the kids, they spent virtual life in their own world, and the net consumption gone up. So this is more interesting, and we thought this is more related to our own project. So me and Professor Srikant Das thought of requesting some of the experts in the field and also to listen to different stakeholders. Stakeholders, those who are using this medium in academic field, we can say how students are experiencing their life and how teachers are experiencing the life, and the technical service providers also. So we thought of this webinar, and this webinar, as we have already intimated, has got distinct components. First, after this very brief inaugural session, we will be having a series of invited talks by 14 eminent speakers from different countries. And we also have research papers by young scholars, as we have got many speakers, many papers, and we have got paucity of time. So we had no choice but to have parallel sessions. We will be having in virtual one, the invited talks, and in virtual two, we'll be having paper presentation going parallel after this inaugural session. And there will be a brief lunch break. After the lunch break, there will be a very interesting session, which we'll be calling panel discussion. And in that panel discussion, we have invited representatives from different sections, different stakeholders, that is student representative, research scholar representative, and technology expert representative, and it will be moderated by Professor Anil Bajpai, and it will start at 3 p.m. I guess each of the sessions will be quite interesting, and I'm very happy when we thought of like using a 300 capacity Zoom ID, we got tremendous response. Then I requested my authority, Registrar Sir, Provici Madam and Vice Chancellor Sir, and also my own Director of School of Management, can I get like more capacity Zoom ID? I'm thankful to my authority. They supported instantly and they have given the best possible IT infrastructure, and I guess like the license Zoom ID that we are having using for this webinar is best of its kind, and it goes up to 3,000 participants kind of thing. I'm really very much thankful to my authority here, and also I'm very much thankful to all the colleagues from ORSI Bhubaneswar chapter, and I will not be taking much time. With this, can I request my colleague from ORSI, Professor Srikant Patnaik, to please brief us about the activities of Operational Research Society of India, Bhubaneswar chapter, how it is most active chapter in entire India, and what we have done so far for the information of all the delegates. Thank you. Over to Professor Patnaik, please.
Good morning to all the chair of this inaugural session, invited speakers and delegates. As the president of ORSI Bhubaneswar chapter, I must tell that in 2014, we revitalized ORSI section in Bhubaneswar, and in 2015, we have hosted one international conference on operational research in development sector. I must tell here that although we do say activity in Bhubaneswar, but it is visible, and we publish an edited volume in the title Operational Research in Development Sector, edited by Professor Rabi N Tripathi, Professor Subudhi, me, and Professor Jyotiranjan Naik. It was came out in 2017. Again, in 2017, we hosted one international conference on decision science and management in the year 2018. This year, when Professor Subudhi told me about this event, and we have discussed how to bring out the abstract as well as the full volume within a very short span of time, I recommended to publish the proceeding from one of the publishing house here, which we are managing, but very recently it has been hosted in Elsevier Digital Commons. And I must tell you to all the gathering here that today it is the first abstract or the proceeding which will be uploading for the first time in Digital Commons. This facility has been started only few years before by the University of Berkeley professors, and the press name is Berkeley Electronic Press or BE Press. And they are giving the opportunity to all the universities and professors who are working in different sectors to electronically store their intellectual property in this portal known as the Elsevier Digital Commons. And very recently, they are coming up with the indexing mechanism known as Plumbex, which will be replacing the Scoopus and other indexing which is done by the Elsevier. I must tell here that this year also we are bringing out a proceeding, bringing out a book in the title Advances in Computational Management, which will be available in 2021. I am very happy to announce here that few of the best paper will be accommodated in that edited volume. Our title is Advances in Computational Management. And in this portal, there are facility to upload the invited talks or the paper by the invited speaker and the best paper presenter, which will be also available in this portal. So the presenter who are presenting here will be very fortunate to have their intellectual property will be uploaded in Elsevier Digital Commons. With this, I must stay here saying that although it is a very small place, but we are doing quality work on behalf of ORSI, and each year we do some type of activity. Hand over to Professor Subudhi.
So sorry for interrupting. You will be continuing, Professor Patnaik. Actually, just like our Pro Vice Chancellor Madam has just joined, I am welcoming Madam Professor Sasmita Samanta, our Pro Vice Chancellor. Also, my guest from UAE, Professor Rabi Chandran, I welcome you. So sorry, Professor Patnaik, please continue. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So I was continuing the publishing activity we do here. Few days before, maybe last couple of months, those who are working in computational management and computational intelligence area, they must have received the invitation to contribute a chapter. I am very sure that the speaker who are attending this meeting today, I have received 1 or 2 chapters from them. So I am repeating the same information. If anyone is working on the computational management area, they are welcome to contribute their findings to this edited volume. And whomsoever who are conducting any kind of seminar, symposium, conferences, they are most welcome to upload their proceedings in Elsevier Digital Commons through us. So with this, I remain. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Patnaik. I would like to supplement the hospitality we got when Professor Patnaik arranged one really fantastic conference, which can be truly told international conference at ITER. There was a grand success in all major kind of thing. Thank you, Professor Patnaik, for your support all the time whenever I have asked. Next, can I request our Registrar Sir, Professor Mohanty, to please have your address, please.
A very good morning to all of you. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Hrusikesh Mohanty, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, KIIT University, Professor Sasmita Samanta, esteemed Director, School of Management, Professor Saroj Kumar Mahapatra, esteemed colleague, Professor N Subudhi, Professor Srikant Das, convener of this webinar, Professor Srikant Patnaik, President OR Chapter of India Bhubaneswar Chapter, all the esteemed panelists present today, Professor Bajpayee, Professor Bhagirath Panda, Professor Sarangi, Professor Sahu, and esteemed delegates from all over the globe. On behalf of KIIT deemed to be University, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome all of you. I am honored to be here in this inauguration meeting where more than 240 participants from 7 different countries are participating virtually. You have already heard from the stalwarts of education, Professor Patnaik and Professor Subudhi, on today's theme. Allow me to share my experience of working in a university that has been tech-savvy from 2 decades. Today's webinar is on a radical change in many of our lives. We live in a world where home is the office now. Work from home was earlier considered an exception, and now it is the norm and even viewed as the future. Video call was just another tool of communication, and now video conferencing is a backbone of our official communication. Similarly, traveling was an option and now traveling is an exception. We have adapted to dramatic changes, and it is incredible how our innate ability has enabled us to do so. Let us shift into the future gear. The most interesting fact is that virtual will remain in our lives. Our daily life has moved online, be it shopping, be it entertainment or education. The move into the digital world has made it imperative that the balance between formal and casual and serious and non-serious is well maintained. Presently, it has become essential to focus on how we should behave online. The norms of etiquette for online meeting are equally important, like muting one's mic when not speaking, dressing appropriately for online class and meeting or meeting. It is very, very important. Presenting on camera, that is switching on a video, tracking chats on video platform, and so on. Is there an opportunity for us, the techno corporate people, in all of this? Yes. As a member of KIIT team to university, we are fortunate that from day one of lockdown due to pandemic, our university went virtual by using different technologies like Zoom app or Google Meet to conduct online classes, or Google Classrooms to evaluate assignments and quizzes. Similarly, our university also conducted proctored examinations using Moodle app, Zoom app, and Google Drives based onto the emergent need of virtual life. But in this craze of going full tech, we cannot forget that we are humans. The core values of our university are bonded with the principles of kindness, compassion, empathy, and discipline. Our university culture is shared through the stakeholders' value imbibed with the thought of its honorable founder, Professor Achyut Samant. Quality education for all has been the hallmark of the university, and KIIT deemed to university has got the tag of institution of eminence by MHRD Government of India, being one of the youngest university in India, progressing dynamically under the charismatic leadership of our honorable founder, Professor Achyut Samant sir. This is fully supported by his humanitarian philosophy, inculcating shared values and participation of stakeholders. I sincerely pay my gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor madam, and esteemed Director of School of Management for their kind presence for the deliberation in this webinar on life in virtual world.
Sorry, I think there is some technical issue with Professor Mahathi. Register, sir, Professor Mahathi, am I audible?
I think he has finished, you can continue.
Okay, thank you, madam. Before I request our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, madam, let me welcome our invited speaker guest, particularly my best friend, Professor Saswat I from Institute of Rural Management, Anand, and Murali I welcome from BIT Vellore, Vijaya from Chandragupta Institute, Patna, K. Ravi Krishnan from UAE, Saibal from TCS Kolkata, and all others, hearty welcome. Now, may I request our Pro Vice Chancellor, Madam, to please address us. Madam, please.
Very good morning. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K.S. Mahathi, the convener of this program, Professor Subudhi and Professor Das. All other invited guests and delegates present here. Today we all are discussing about a topic. I think that this topic is the matter of discussion since last 120 days, and perhaps each and every academic institution is taking this matter for discussion because we all are eagerly waiting for a solution for this issues or for the problem that has been created by this pandemic before few months. And I think every day morning while we are getting up from the bed, while we are thinking about the restrictions, that whether we can use the bike, whether we can use the car, whether I can go to the office or I can go somewhere else, or there is some restriction for not going. So because so many restrictions are there in and around us, perhaps we all are very much eagerly waiting for the solution that when this restriction, we will be out of those restrictions. Because suddenly we all have been disrupted by this pandemic and our normal life has been disrupted by that. And during that time, I think that perhaps because of the pandemic, if we say that we have gone for the virtual, perhaps I will be wrong in that. Because in last 1 decade or 10 years, we all have realized that each one of the sector of knowledge or education or the manufacturing, or it can be any sector you take, starting from the manufacturing, technology, healthcare, economy, finance services, business services, each and every sector is growing and evolving only by use of technology or intervention of technology in that. So while today we are talking about financial services, suddenly it's coming to our mind, we have perhaps slowly forgetting the physical financial services and we are suddenly thinking about the fintech. And while we are talking about this cyber security, we are thinking about not only the pure cyber security when we are sending the mails or doing any transaction doing any transaction through computer, but for the social security also we are thinking about social cyber security, how it is affecting to our life and how we can evolve the process to restrict that or to get the security out of that. So whenever we are thinking about any problem, any issues or solution for that, technology intervention was already there. And I think that because of the technology intervention or the virtual intervention, the world is going more towards the virtual. Yeah, it's going towards the virtual, but with the virtuality, I see slowly the concepts are coming up particularly in last 3 years. The concept of community enterprises, I can say that the community culture. So those localized concept and I can say that very bonded or very connected, the culture between the connected people, that is also coming up too fast. I see in last 3 years, if you see the MSME sector, most of the enterprises of course, if the services are available virtually or physically, the enterprises, those who are coming up, most of the enterprises are community-based enterprises. We see the food industry, we see that rapid development in food and hospitality sector. We see the rapid development in cultural sector, and third one also that is slowly evolving. Maybe it will come in academic sector, while the community-based institution perhaps will be also getting the visibility slowly. That also is slowly evolving. And third, I can see that after this pandemic, when we see that we all are restricted inside the house, but it has given us another one direction, that today we all are able to operate globally, because this pandemic has taught us how to use the virtual platform to operate globally. Today in this conference, we are having so many speakers from foreign universities like USA, UK or UAE. It is because we are conducting this conference virtually, and because of that we are able to get those experts from different countries all over the globe. And this confidence we have got in just in 90 days to 120 days, because always we know that the necessity is the mother of invention, and this pandemic has forced us, this pandemic has taught us that how we all can use the virtual platform to operate in a global platform. Now we always saying that world has become a global village, the distance has been decreased, we are able to reach in different destinations maybe in less than 24 hours. Yes, that was happening, but now we are reached to everybody maybe in less than 24 seconds. That has happened. And coming to the academic sector particularly, whatever our register was telling, perhaps KIIT is the first institution in the country which had started the virtual classes just after closing of the university on 14th of March. We started the virtual classes on 17th of March. Yes, we had some exposure to the virtual learning platforms like Zoom, Google Meet or something, or Microsoft Teams, different platform. We are also using Moodle previously for conducting our quizzes and conducting the examination in the university. So we could think and we could integrate that, and all the students, all the faculties responded it to very positively, because they had some experience in using that. Of course, we see that in 120 days, small to small schools, small to small institutions, all of them are using the virtual platform for conducting their classes. They are trying their level best, even where the school children are not having the laptops or systems at their residence. Those faculties are trying to use the WhatsApp platform to upload the documents and to help the students to learn at their residence. Lot many mechanism is being slowly being explored, but till now we are not able to explore the mechanism how to help the students, how to help the kids, those who are not having the internet. That the divide of the society because of the internet is already there. The academic, the students, those who are not having the internet connectivity, those who are not having any type of gadget to avail the facilities, they are not connected to the system. Of course, the big institutions are able to reach to the 90 to 95% of the crowd, because their crowds come from the different background. We are having two types of institutions. One is KIIT, another one is KISS. We also face the same problem in KISS. While we try to teach the tribal students, perhaps we don't have any mechanism with us that how to connect them to the academic system regularly. Of course, we have devised some mechanism by clustering the students according to the geographical area. We are identifying the teachers in that area. We are advising them to teach those students in a common place by maintaining all the guidelines of social distancing. That is happening, but in the way we are able to connect to the students virtually for KIIT students, those who are very much connected to the internet through different gadgets, that is not happening with KISS students. Second method we have devised to use the mass media. We are having one Kalinga TV. that through the Kalinga TV, the teachers of different levels like primary level, secondary school, or the university, they are teaching different subjects and students are getting little bit of knowledge of that. But it's not, we cannot use that 24 hours as you are doing for KIIT students. So little bit of those students are facing some difficulties while we are coming to the facilities. So because of the facilities, because of the connectivity, those students are not getting connected. But as we don't know that when this pandemic will be over, and if you see the history, most of the pandemic continued in this world for 24 months. If you see keenly the last 3, 4, 5 pandemics, they existed in the globe for 24 months. Maybe what, till how much time this pandemic will continue, none of us know that. And we expect that the seriousness of this pandemic will continue at least up to December, this 2020, end of 2020. That is being forecasted by different health organizations like WHO, CDC, and those organizations. But I think that the effect of this pandemic, it has disrupted our life. It has already taken more than 5 lakhs of the life from the globe. So many people have died. But because of this pandemic, we have also got some of the, it has also evolved some of the processes in the globe. Perhaps it would have taken a decade or more than that for evolving those processes. This situation has forced us to evolve those processes and experiment on that. And I think that as we say that as the topic is the new normal, of course the normal, what the normal will be, whatever normal is today, whether that normal will be tomorrow or there will be some other normal, none of us know that also. So the academicians, the researchers, the delegates, those who are present here, attending for those who are attending this conference, I hope that by their prudence, their intelligence, maybe some measures will be evolved. As such, we can add values to your life, even at this time of crisis. Of course, the crisis is there. It will continue because to accept the change, it takes time. Of course, in pressure, we are accepting it too fast. But I hope that the deliberation and the solutions will be discussed or devised from this discussion. It may add some values to your life, even during this pandemic. So thanks to Professor Subudhi for inviting me. Thanks to all the delegates for being and participating in this discussion. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Madam Professor Susmita Samanta. Thank you for presenting for all of us the nice experience that we had in KIIT and what we have successfully done. This is told for the first time to different participants from different parts of the world, and for suggesting the things to happen in future. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your speech and for your support to this webinar. Next, may I request our director, Professor S.K. Mahapatra, to please give his keynote address, please. Professor Mahapatra.
Good morning. Session Chair, Professor Hrishikesh Bharti, Vice Chancellor, KIIT University. I hope I am audible well. Is my voice audible?
Yes, sir, a bit closer to mic, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Session Chair, Professor Hrishikesh Bharti, Vice Chancellor, KIIT University. Professor Susmita Samanta, Pro Vice Chancellor, KIIT University. Professor Shrikanta Patnaik, President ORSI Bhubaneswar Chapter. Professor J.R. Mohanty, Registrar, KIIT University. Professor R. N. Subudhi and Professor S. C. Das, conveners of this seminar, distinguished panelists and participants. At the outset, let me congratulate the organizers of this seminar and offer my compliments for selecting a topic of contemporary relevance: life in the new normal, which is an emerging perspective of how mankind is responding to the attack from a new virus called COVID-19 in ways that have no precedence in history. A new phrase has entered the conversational language: the new normal. Thought leaders from all over the world, across all sectors, are struggling to define the phrase. But it seems they all are certain that the social equilibrium of the world has changed for good. No one is saying that normalcy will return soon, but everyone is saying that what was normal before cannot be the normal anymore. I also think so. What I am going to talk about is limited to our experience with work from home as an element of new normal and lessons we have learned from this limited experiment of working from home. However, to set a perspective to our thoughts, it is important to track the journey ab initio. I will take you through a very quick journey of the pandemic. The new coronavirus, COVID-19, caught us unprepared. The patient zero is still unidentified, and the antidote to the infection is yet to be found. The first report came in November 17, 2019, and the Chinese government did not take serious note of its lethal nature. Dr. Zhang Jijian blew the whistle on 27 December 2019, and he met the fate of Socrates. China officially reported to WHO on 31st December 2019 about the virus. WHO then waited for 72 days, watching the virus spread globally, before declaring it as a pandemic on 11th of March 2020. By then, the social media was full of horror stories about the virus, and COVID-19 was the most sought after villain on the internet. The corona pandemic turned into a global panic, leading to paralysis of the social, political, and economic systems, which had evolved over many centuries, virtually shutting down all human activities in a matter of few days, something unprecedented in history of mankind. The leaders of the free world were clueless and went into a reactionary mode of lockdown, a new form of peacetime curfew, as the WHO advocated social distancing to be the only way to delay the virus from spreading. The panic mindset did not give time to the government leaders to think through the consequences fully until the very end before taking the decision. The larger the population, the greater the risk, so they thought. So you can understand why India was at the forefront of declaring the lockdown. The collective leadership of the world community has not been able to discuss the ramifications and find a uniform response. The UN Security Council has all but abandoned its role, unable to look beyond the conventional security concerns. The G8 leaders have withdrawn from the global stage to fight the virus in their respective home turfs as the biggest threat to their leadership and power. All other issues that were considered important in the agenda of world leaders before March 2020 have been relegated to not urgent category. The coronavirus spread rapidly to more than 200 countries across all continents except Antarctica. Lockdown and social distancing appeared to be the only way to keep people safe. The schools and colleges were closed, offices, malls, and markets were closed, except for groceries, vegetables, and medicine. Trains and buses stopped running, airports were shut down, and commercial flights were suspended. Private vehicles were debarred from flying except to hospital. Streets were emptied, factories were closed or conditionally operated. All construction work stopped. The Prime Minister and Chief Ministers came out to address people directly from time to time. The WHO and all the governments were compelled to release daily bulletins on the spread of corona and preventive measures. During the lockdown, the bulletins continue to date. The lockdown initially started for 15 days in the middle of March and kept getting stretched week by week with a little change in condition here and there. But until now, People have not been called back to their offices or workplaces without any restrictions. The laptop carrying white collar employees, including us, the teachers, we could quickly switch over to work from home mode as the new lockdown was announced. When it has started, the first announcements were welcomed. They were appreciated by the public. There were hope that soon all will be well, the normal life would resume. Staying put at home for a period of 3 weeks helped families rediscover their emotional bond. Working from home was new for most of the people who were used to work from office. Work from home was a challenge for employees, as mastery of technology was key to maintain the aura of efficiency and merit without the opportunity to walk in and explain to the boss. There were many ethical concerns at both ends, of course. The employee was worried if the employees should be assessed based on time logged to computer or output of work for a day, and wondered how to find a good measure of efficiency. The employee struggling with technology worried how to complete the work in time and found himself overstretched. The work-life balance has a different perspective in this context. Initially, what was started as an amused acceptance, later on went on to add to stress. But without the blue-collar workers in the field, it has become a nightmare to watch the economy collapse, despite the best efforts of the people who are working from home. There was a lot of anxiety among the blue-collar workers about their jobs and social security initially during the lockdown. But prolonged lockdown was not something anyone had bargained for. The home return of migrant labor exposed the fragile relation between labor and capital. Job losses could not be averted. Privately estimated figures suggest the unemployment rate has gone far higher than the previous worst ever and already in double digit. Emotional stress for employees who continue to work from home have kept rising as lockdown has taken a new form called Unlock 1. And there is still no firm indication of getting back to normal work in office. After months of lockdown, the global economy is hit by the worst recession ever. And the employee's mind is gripped with fear of financial insecurity, as news about job losses around the world have started trickling down all over the internet. The rationale of work from home is important for us to understand. Human civilization has evolved as a community lifestyle. Work is only a small part of the whole living experience. This context holds the key. Why did we have to carry the work from home? Because we could not afford to close down our education in schools immediately. We could not afford to close down the factories immediately because there is a protocol for shutting down a factory and restarting it. The mobilization and demobilization of men at work in the unorganized sector is a mammoth activity. Only a few managers and white-collar employees could work from home the day after lockdown, but millions of workers could not. The society needed the services of mostly the blue-collared workers badly during the lockdown. And that is why the rest of the humanity kept glorifying them as corona warriors and cheered for them. Remember the helicopter showering petals on the corona warriors? The government offices could close, but governance had to continue. Only few could work as they have had the wherewithal of technology and knowledge to work from home. Some people in government, industry, commerce, education had to work from home to ensure uninterrupted flow of essential services for people locked up in their houses during lockdown. Some people were needed in the street to maintain law and order, for providing healthcare and sanitation services to the community during lockdown. The teachers had to work from home to extend the classroom to every student's home and maintain a positive psychology. The work from home model was tested globally as a preventive solution to pandemic and found effective in terms of lowering risk to human life. But it proved inadequate, may I say grossly inadequate, to maintain the health of economy. The main reason of this inadequacy was not that only a small fraction of people could work from home, but because the production and distribution systems in the global economy was not ready with a foolproof delivery mechanism. The supply chain growth. The automated systems are simply not in place. The limits of work from home have been tested and exposed. Robots are yet not ready for all physical work. E-commerce needs a physical supply chain. The regulatory system is also not ready either. Let us now examine the emotional impact of work from home. The work-life balance turned out to be a privately held construct of emotion versus reality. A lot of assumptions started floating around. Time with family increased, but so did the working hours. On the positive side, the technology phobia seems to be gone. PC has become the real personal computer, not just a machine for office. Acceptance of change become easier. People have realized that it is not all that difficult to learn the keyboard at any age. Employees of all age groups have realized that technology adaptation is not a choice, but a compulsion and a matter of survival. Jobs are getting re-engineered around new technologies for quite some time, and the rate of obsolescence has been getting faster. We knew it, but we were thinking probably the time has not come. But COVID-19 said the time had actually come yesterday. The older people who ignored the technology earlier are now adapting to ICT faster, as midlife crisis is most acute in the job sphere at the middle, under budgetary pressure to optimize costs. Just look around where actually the layoffs are happening most. It is in the middle layers, middle segments. Every day, the people who are now working from home are learning something new. New knowledge is like new currency. That is the best positive outcome of the current situation. Lifelong learning is not a sermon for the next generation, but reality for the existing generation. For all of us, young and old alike, creativity, cyber skills, and agility are the three most sought after core competencies, perhaps, in the new and incoming job sphere. During lockdown, people have got used to work without assistance of helpers. People have found out how good and efficient are Alexa and Google as personal secretaries. There is a newfound respect for the blue-collar workers as we are working as our own domestic helps. However, as of now, there are some dysfunctional impact noticed while working from home. Starting from the emotional point, the charm of weekend holidays have completely faded. People are losing count of weekends, and it is hard to tell the exact weekday without looking at the calendar. Everything cannot be done with a laptop, camera, and internet. Prolonged period of social distancing might crystallize into a habit, causing fundamental changes in long-established behavioral patterns in society, worsening the alienation. Remember Karl Marx? He was right. He said that industrialization, unbridled, unchecked, can lead to alienation of human beings, not only from the society, not only from the machines with which they work, but also from himself, from his own families. The root of alienation is work time. From 18-hour work a day to 8 hours work a day has been a long journey for working class over centuries. The working class regulations have always aimed to provide more free time to labor. Free time was essentially the me time in the current language for working people to indulge in the pursuits for happiness of free will. Work from home had showed early signs of nullifying the work time regulations, disguising compulsion as volunteering and force as free will. I would like to raise an alarm bell here. As we all belong to the education sector, let us see the impact of work from home in the education sector. Education usually leads the social change and steers the society during crisis. Look at history. Every time a revolution has been actually led by thinkers in the education sector. One of the biggest challenges before education system in India has been the 1.3 billion people, and for the world, the 7+ billion people. The limitation to reach every child and every adult has been a challenge of access to communication. The cause of failure was that either the teacher could not reach the student or the student could not reach the teacher. The resources to build the schools and provide teachers were simply not there. Work from home has placed distance learning online center stage. It has brought new respectability, new opportunities before us. The goals of achieving 100% literacy is no longer a dream. Going way beyond providing skill education to 100% people using technology looks a real possibility now. The test run during the lockdown has been a great learning for all of us. Education can reach the people who were unreachable earlier. In conclusion, I would like to say that work from home has a contextual relevance. Stanford economic professor Nicholas Bloom mentioned in an interview published in Harvard Business Review, January-February 2014, about a study conducted at the Chinese travel company Citrip over a 9-month period on productivity of employees who voluntarily opted to work from home. 50% of the employees of Citrip volunteered to work from home. This study emphasized that productivity is associated with the nature of work, and productivity is positively correlated with work from home. Now, if you see both of these, that it was the nature of work, it was a travel organization, that is why it enhanced productivity, but it categorically said that it is not necessarily true for other conditions of work. The exceptional pandemic situation under which the work from home became an expediency should be seen like the response of a rapid action force, nothing more. More studies are required, and I am very happy that today the thinkers who have assembled here, the researchers who have assembled here, they are going to throw more and more lights on how actually the pandemic has panned out all over the world into different walks of life. However, the current experience with work from home has given us 3 warning signals. First, the work from home is likely to come back prepared for a long stay. That means this coronavirus is not the end of virus attack. Reinfection cases are already being reported now. Yesterday I was watching the TV, Florida has reported a lot of reinfection cases in the US. Dr. Fauci, who is actually leading the fight against COVID in the world and the most respected doctor, he says that there is no end to the solution of this coronavirus. Second, the on-field operations which had to be carried out by some people during lockdown, risking their lives, will have to be replaced by robots as early as possible. I would like to urge upon the thinkers to really debate on this issue. How long we will keep on saying that the machines are replacing labor and causing employment loss, whereas the statistical evidence shows the rate of job creation due to technology is far higher than the rate of job losses. Therefore, the third lesson from here is all blue-collar jobs must be converted as early as possible to mechanized jobs to be run by robots as early as possible, so that there is no threat to anybody's life, and we don't have to, in this kind of a situation, we don't have to send sanitary workers out in the open. We don't have to send the police force out in the open just in case of this kind of emergency. We have to take the lessons and be better prepared for the future. The education sector has to take the lead in reskilling the people in new technology, using the new technology faster than before. This is the lesson from the limited experiments with work from home during the current pandemic. I cannot define the new normal, but all that I can say is there are a lot of lessons in our day-to-day experience of working from home. And if we take it and implement it, probably we will be co-creating the new normal. Thank you, Dr. Subudhi. Thank you, the organizers, for giving me this great opportunity to share my thoughts. Let me add a caveat. I am a layman, but sometimes great thinkers need to listen to a layman to understand a different perspective. So thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity. Over to you, Dr. Subudhi.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very impressive, thoughtful, and very impactful, exhaustive deliberation, where you have very correctly explained about working from home, teaching from home, learning from home situations. Now, before I request chair of the session, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, let me just give early inputs to the speakers of the next session so that they can be ready with their PPTs. I can see Saswat showing us his library of wisdom and his the wisdom in your bald head kind of thing, and my best friend Professor Bhagirathi Panda there. So with your kind permission, like the sequence will be Saswat to speak first, and Professor Subrat will be speaking next, and maybe like Professor Bhagirathi Panda will be speaking third. So there will be a quick switchover break of only 2-3 minutes after this brief inauguration, so that I'm just like giving you a request message to the next 3 speakers of the next session so that you can get ready with the PPT. After thanking my director, Professor Mahapatra, for his very fantastic deliberation, can I request you, sir, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to have your presidential remarks.
Okay. Namaskar to all of you. And, thank you, Professor Subudhi, for giving this opportunity to be here in this webinar of discussing about the new life of in virtual world. And I would like to thank all the participants, our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Honorable Registrar, and all our Honorable Directors, Professor Mahapatras. Thank you for a very nice talk. I think you have told everything. It's a very exhaustive what Professor Subudhi told. Professor Patnaik, Srikant Patnaik, I am seeing you after a long time. Thank you very much for being here. And Professor Bajpayee, sir, and all other my colleagues. Professor Subrat is there, I heard. That's Subrat from Ahmedabad. Thank you very much, all the participants, for being here. And both our Pro Vice Chancellor, Madam, and our Director, Professor Mahapatra, they have told very elaborately about this, the current situation and the new trend, what we are going through, whether somebody tells that, it is increasing the digital divide and whatever. Many ways people look at it. And, but that is what the life now. And I'm afraid that, we say it virtual because we keep staying in a coordinate of old coordinate, and that's why in comparison to that we say that the other one is virtual, but we do not know that may be the real coordinate. The world is coming, and and this one will be the past world. So there is always a change. The change is sometimes the man-made changes, then sometimes nature-made changes. And I remember when I went 30 years back, USA, visiting my friend, and I saw that he is talking to his neighbor on just by the side of the flat on the telephone. I was telling him, "What are you doing? Why?" I got surprised that this is it. Can it happen, and should it happen, and all this. Then again, after 30 years in my village, I saw that in Shradhabhakya, the people are in Shradhabhakya, they all invite for dinner or for lunch and all. Then I saw they are also inviting for Shradhabhakya their neighbors just by the side of their house on the cell phone, and you come and all this. So I think this is what it is, the only latency of change. So how fast who changes. So I think how fast we catch up to the change. I think you have already talked, for education sector, what the KIIT here we have done, and I mean all other universities also are doing. And Professor Mahapatra has told very elaborately what are the changes, plus pro, cons, looking at in both the ways. But what I would like to tell something is, because this is not only this online issue, the current this thing, but this is also there are a lot of participants are from operation research background also. So this program is both for operation research and this virtual life. So I will try to join these two. What I would like to say is that operation research as such, it has come exactly when there is a great change happened, and that was man-made change. This is the World War II, and this was a huge problem in the humanity faced that time. That time the problem of total extinction, no, and we somehow survived the humanity, and in that operation research came. The operation research is a new field, totally a new field of knowledge came. And this is what I keep telling, that if the world, the we are when in the new world is coming, we are only talking about how to carry with the current world, online education or something, but we have to think that the new paradigm of the world totally something new will come. The old establishment may totally melt away. Okay, this is what very radical thinking is required by, at least now, by the academicians. So coming back now, how to profile the changes came. No, then 1945 war came, and then in 1950 the computer came for the uses, the uses by the scientists in a mass scale. So the change, you see how it is coming. And after 1950, interestingly, the computer, when Carnegie Institute of Technology bought that computer, and then they wanted to put it in electrical engineering department, but the electrical engineering department didn't accept it, because they have to maintain it and they have to take that botheration. So they didn't allow, they didn't give space. So that time the new department was the management department in Carnegie Institute of Technology, and that is what I'm seeing now, is the management department is holding the over. And this management department allowed to use their basement for installing the computer in Carnegie Institute of Technology, in Carnegie Mellon University. And Carnegie Mellon University, then 1960, in that basement, the great thinkers who took the computer science to the next stop, that was the birth of the AI from Carnegie Mellon University. So this is what you see, the confluence after World War, the OR, then to the management. OR is, of course, the before it was with the in IIT Kharagpur, management, industrial engineering was there, and so then OR and management that time was taken as the same subject. After that, HR and all, they used everything. Then the MBA and all this came. But this industrial engineering, computer, and the AI, which it took place in the basement of management school in the Carnegie Institute of Technology. And there the computation from number crunching, it went to the symbolic computations. So, and the Feigenbaum developed the expert systems for the decision making. So from number crunching, it went to the symbol, to the word patterns. So then they call it the knowledge-based computing. So after that, actually the management, OR, and computer, they again went a big It's like they fell apart. They again went in their own way of developing the management to HR, finance, and all these things. It went on its own way, or the traditional, or no, they remain in their own way. Then this computing people went up to AI and all. But after some time, then this, when the again computer AI saw that no, it is nothing, the whole computation in the AI decision making is not only symbolic, but also at some time, we need to do a optimization, and they use the meta heuristics, and then this meta heuristic computing came, and again went to the number crunching. Now we are all this deep learning and convoluted network, neural network, and all these things. See that how this, with the change of the world, the change of the technology, how it goes, and again they meet it and they make something which gives to the, not only it adds to the knowledge, but also it helps in many ways in serving to the society. What Professor Mahapatra was telling is that now there is automation is required. I think probably that is why the also time has shown that this AI and OR, these two has to meet, and the computing technology will give, and the new life, what will come because of this pandemic, and to this new life, this technology will give a big hand. And for this, what I will not take much time in this, but what I am telling, there is a new normal life. What we are telling, this new normal life, of course, will be added by the technology, and if there is a lot of time a person has, then this time, how one can give in study, in adding to the different field of the knowledge, that is what is the now challenge. And to deal with, Professor Mahapatra already told, when there is a technology changes, it is not that people go unemployed. I remember after I finished my MTech, I attended a job. That time, in that interview before joining for PhD, I just went to attend a job. Then in that time, that HR person in that company told that if the computer is there, then there will be a lot of people may lose job, and there will be a strike, in the workers strike. How you handle it? At that time I was just 20 plus. I told him that is your problem. I don't have to think of it. I only do with the computer. So now what a point I am to make is that if there is an emotional problem, if there is and making the mass adequate with the knowledge required, and these are the problems which has to be addressed. I think this is not to be told that because of this we are not going to change, and we are going to change. We are going to change, addressing the problem. It is good to identify those problems, and particularly Odisha case, because of the Operation Research Group, I would like to put few words that I think this is a lot of work. We do research, but we need to do a very quality research. Quality. Odisha is also good in math. We have a lot of talents in the math, and with this the fundamental issue in the operation research. It's like in the current stage, if it is a meta heuristics based operation optimization techniques, these optimization techniques we are just using the MATLAB. Give the parameters, we use the MATLAB, get the result. But giving a mathematical background to it, finding its correctness, and finding it the solution which can be explainable solutions. Now how the problem state changes, all these things have to be looked at in a very fundamentally, theoretically, very deeply. I wish that our researchers in OR will look into these things. And also, when we talk about, because if the new life in this will come, then there will be so many problems at the door, which probably we may overlook. Something like I saw one paper of Manisha Panda, which is scheduled to for the presentation. I saw, no, this is what the problem we should have. Like now, how we optimize the strategy for perishable goods. This is the very small problem which everybody finds, but small solution, a small problem and smart solution we require for this new life. This is what I would give a call to the technologists of Odisha and the OR researchers to see that identify the generic small problem and the smart solutions. So thank you very much, and I wish a very, very fruitful deliberations in this. And also I thank you again, congratulate Professor Subudhi and Professor Shrikant Das for getting this project ICSR and doing a great study on this internet resource now, which is very much required. At the same time, it has to be optimized, used in an optimized way for the best research. And this is why I think the confluence of OR people and this seminar is much more justified to see that these two has to join the hand and now explore the new world. So wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll be very, very brief for the last ritual of offering thanks so that we save time, precious time of all of us. I'll be first taking the liberty of thanking my own family members from KIIT, respected Vice Chancellor sir, respected Pro Vice Chancellor Madam, respected Registrar Professor Mahanti, and my own Revo Director Professor Mahapatra. As you are all family member, you all have helped me a lot for making it successful. I am really indebted to you all. Next, I'm really thankful to Professor Shrikant Patnaik and all the Revo members of ORSI, those who are silently but significantly working for the success of this webinar. One and all, Professor Patnaik and his team and his publishing team also. Next, I am grateful to each and every invited speaker, those who are very, very close to me personally, academically, and most of them are really in close contact with me. And when I requested them, despite their busy schedule, they have agreed to my request, maybe like because of my relation or maybe like kind of thing. I'm really grateful to all of you. And we also have a very interesting, important panel discussion post-lunch, which will be chaired by Professor Anil Bajpai and all the panelists. I'm really grateful to all of you, and we are looking forward to the live discussion that what we'll be listening and learning from the panel discussion. We are also going to have parallel session of paper presentations. We are having close to 20 research papers to be presented, and that paper presentation session will be chaired by Professor Sudhakar Patra from Berhampur University, and the rapporteur will be Professor Omar Farooq from Bangladesh, to be supported by my colleague Mrs. Bandana Patnaik. I am really thankful to all the registered delegates, and 50% of them have joined. I'm hopeful that in due course of time, they will be joining different sessions. And last but not the least, some of my student volunteer friends are working overnight. As you all know, those who are from Bhubaneswar, it is a complete shutdown in Bhubaneswar, but we are in the KIIT campus. Despite the shutdown and the core team, they have come to this campus and who are working from this computer lab. And I am thankful to all the employees, colleagues of this data center for the beautiful infrastructure, beautiful technological support. I will not be taking much time for this vote of thanks. Let me tell you the scheduling of next sessions. We need hardly 2 to 3 minutes switchover time from this session to next session. But those who are attending, they can take a quick break. And I would request one and all to please listen to very, very interesting, insightful talk to be delivered by our eminent invited speakers. And as I've already told, I have requested the 3 speakers who will be starting first, Professor Saswat from Irma Anand, then Professor Subra Sarangi from Maika Ahmedabad, and then Professor Bhagirathi Panda from Nehu Shila. But let me tell you a very interesting story. Saswat, you should not laugh at me. Professor Murali from VIT should not laugh at me. Only last late night I thought one of the speakers is from US, Penn State University. Then it struck to me when we'll be starting this invited talk series, it will be late night, I think 2 a.m., 3 a.m., what should have done. He cannot wait for us. So with your kind permission, what I've done, early morning I got up at 6 a.m. today, and I requested the friend of mine, Professor Darius. I told, can I take your recorded presentation now? He was kind enough, and he has given us a fantastic presentation. It is hardly 13 minutes exactly. I requested him not to exceed 10 minutes. I request all of you, please listen to Professor Darius from Penn State University, and we'll be starting just after 2 minutes. Those who badly need a break, they can have a quick break for 2 minutes. We need hardly 2 minutes for this switchover. Thank you so much for attending this inaugural session. Thank you so much. We are starting within 2 minutes.